Rabbi Friedman, I've discussed this concept with Yoni a lot, and I understand when you say it, it makes lots of sense. You always manage to explain it in a way that's clear. However, we know that, for most people, they want to see something in a source that's very clear. I know you mentioned, 40 years of the Rebbe and the Rebbe's teachings, and I've, asked Yoni to share with me sources that you and your team have found, and it always seems like the sources that seem the clearest in support of what you're saying are always non-edited by the Rebbe, and the ones that are edited or from my Marim, from the Rebbe Rashab, and these things, they come very close to saying it, but they're not 100% clear. And it could be I haven't seen everything, but I'm just curious, like, do you feel that there's a need for clear sources in edited sichos or maimarim from the Rebbe, or do you believe that they actually are there everywhere, or something else? Because at the end of the day, you can say it, but people need to see the source.
That's true, and it's also not necessarily a good thing. Of course, we want to see a source, but we also want to know. It's not exeras hakosov. We have to understand. We have to. So first, the first question to deal with is: does this make sense to you, or do you need somebody to force it down your throat and say it's exeras hakosov? There's plenty of evidence, beginning with Medrashim and the Rebbe Rashab, even the Alter Rebbe's statement, "Ich will nicht dein Gan Eden, ich will nicht dein Olam Haba, ich will nur dir allein." Can we reach dir allein, or is that just a poetic sentiment? Eilav v'leila mideisav. What does that mean? Can you communicate with him and not his sviris? Well, obviously, that's what it says. What does it mean, Ivdu es Hashem? There's no way around this. If you want to find a mucker, fine.
Well, I guess if I can just interject for 1 second, I guess what I'm saying is when you explain it logically, you it makes sense because it feels like we're kind of ignoring the fact that in Chabad Hasidus, there is a very technical hierarchy of how everything is, structured, and, what affects this and what affects that. And because it's very technical, right? Chabad, in one sense, it is able to communicate in a very simplified manner, but we know that all that simplification behind it is extremely, extremely technical, which is why most people open Sefer Erechim and they can't make heads or tails of it because it's so, so technical. So when I understand when you say, like, it's not technical, understand the concept. I understand the concept you're saying, but because I know that there's technical things behind it, I feel that it does warrant that we at least see it somewhere, that the technical point is stated clearly. And I guess for me personally, what I wonder, and I would love to understand your perspective, is two things. If the Rebbe clearly understood and studied and knew all the background material that people are quoting when they question what you're saying, and if the Rebbe clearly understood that if he was saying what you're saying, he understood the revolutionary nature of it. So did the Rebbe never say clearly in an edited treatise somewhere, I understand this is a huge chiddush for most people, but I'm saying it clearly and it's edited, so there's no questions. That's one thing, which it's a double-sided question. Did the Rebbe ever do that? And if he didn't, then is it really so hard to understand why someone would question if that's really what the Rebbe was meaning to say? And in conjunction with that, I would like to ask you, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but everyone's question is, if you can't ask the Rebbe, then who do you ask? You ask Rabbi Yoel. And I understand you had a meeting with him, but I've never been able to get clarity around what happened in that meeting. Did Rabbi Yoel agree? Did he not agree? If you don't mind me putting you on the spot to answer those two questions about the Rebbe and about Rabbi Yoel.
So first of all, the Rebbe said it very clearly when he explained the Iker in the Rambam, HaTeira Hazeis Lo Tehei Muchlefes. And the Rebbe asks, why is it so important to believe that the Torah will never change? On the contrary, if the Eibishter wants to change the Torah, Gesundheit. He tells us to put on tefillin, we'll put on tefillin. He tells us not to, so we won't. Why isn't that a greater emunah than the emunah that the mitzvahs will never change? And the Rebbe's answer is because mitzvahs are him, and just as he can't change, the mitzvah can't change. So if you think that a mitzvah can change, you don't know what a mitzvah is. So it's one of the ikrei emunah. That's very clear. My conversation with Rabbi Yoel is, I was trying to put him on the spot and say, can you take a position on this? The whole idea of Atzmus being the center of attention, I got from him. Because that's what he understood from the Rebbe. But when I asked him, should we say that the Eibishter needs the mitzvah, he said it's not simple. Okay? There's actually a letter from the Rebbe where the Rebbe says, somebody wrote in English, God's needs, and the Rebbe says you can't say that without explaining it. Obviously, look at the controversy. So if you say it without explaining it, you just disturb a lot of people. So we're trying to explain it. We need to explain.
Often I've seen sichos that are edited and where the Rebbe adds the word kaviyachol.
Yes.
The Rebbe seems to be saying very close to it, and the Rebbe says kaviyachol. And I've heard from Yoni and from my brother, and I think from your son last week, that the meaning of kaviyachol doesn't mean that it's that it's really not what we're saying. It means that what we think it is a mirror image of something that's much more real.
Yes.
Is that explanation of the word kaviyachol? I know there's a very technical question, but I'm just curious. Is that explanation of kaviyachol something that's brought in Chassidus, or that's something that you understood?
No, the Rebbe writes it very clearly that kaviyachol means it's a lot more than you think, not less than you think. But also, again, it's unavoidable. Rashi, I think Rashi says that when we are in Golus, the Eibishter is in Golus with us, kaviyachol. What does that mean? You're trying to comfort us. You're trying to make Golus a little more tolerable by saying that the Eibishter is with you in Golus. And then you say kaviyachol, which means he's not. How does this work? God feels our pain, kaviyachol, which means he doesn't feel our pain. What are you saying? Particularly the Mishnah that says that he is your employer, and ne'emon bal melachtecha l'shalim l'cha scharcha. That if the Eibishter is your employer, then you know you're going to get paid properly. But all of that is kaviyachol. So are you going to get paid? Or are you going to get paid in monopoly money? Kaviyachol money. What does it mean that the Eibishter, I have an arm, and the Eibishter has an arm, kaviyachol? That he doesn't have an arm. This is such nonsense. That's like making a statement and then pushing delete. And it's half the Torah is like that. Yad Hashem, Einei Hashem. Pi Hashem. None of that is true. There's no peh, there's no yad. Okay, let me try another approach. What does it mean? Im chatosa ma tifel im chatosa ma tifel beiv im tzadakta ma titen lo imam yotcha yikach. What kind of statement is that? The Torah is full of commandments. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're chayiv misa, you're chayiv malchus. You have to bring a korban, and then turn around and say, "Nah, he doesn't really care." If you can't answer that question, you've destroyed the whole Torah. So the explanation of Chassidus is that in Mimala Kol Almin, it does matter every detail because the world is important. But in Seviv Kol Almin, it doesn't really matter at all. He's above and beyond it all. So we figure incorrectly that if you go higher than Seviv, if you go to him, to Atzmus himself, he certainly doesn't need it, because he is even higher than Seviv. But let's think about that for a second. Is he higher than Seviv? He's not high, he's not low, he's not Seviv, he's not Memala. He is Eibishter. And to him, there's no such thing as high and low. There's no such thing as big and little. Everything matters in Atzmus. Everything. So we treat Atzmus as if it's a third level. He is not a level. He's not a Svira. He's not an Olam. He is he. And he is everything. When we make that mistake, that Etzem is completely unchangeable, untouchable, indivisible. Yeah, you're talking about the Etzem of a created being. You're not talking about him. So Atzmus and Etzem are not the same thing. So when the Rebbe says that it's Negeya in Atzmus, he's not talking about a level higher than Seviv. He's talking about the Eibishter, who is not a level. He's not a level of Kedusha, he's not a level of infinity. He's the Eibishter. What about all the places where it says that nothing is Negeya, he's beyond everything? He's beyond everything in creation and say that Ishtalshalas. He's not beyond Torah, which is him. And he's not beyond the Nefesh Elikis, which is him. He's not beyond. He's everything everywhere. So it shouldn't even be a chiddush that every tnuah, I think the Rebbe also explained this on the Tanya, Hine avaya nitzav olav beichen kloyes v'lev im oivdei kiroyev. What is he checking? He's not checking to see if you do the mitzvah. He's checking to see if you do the mitzvah the right way, with the right kavanas, with the right. This is important to him. To him, everything is important. Everything is essential because he is essence. Does it really make a difference if we know this? Of course it makes a difference. Like the Rebbe Rashab says in Torah Sholem, when you know who you're dealing with, It's completely different.
Well, I do just want to comment why I still have this form, and then I'll pass it to someone else. That I do feel that this question that you're asking is a tremendous gateway to open people up to just for Lubavitchers and also for non-Lubavitchers to actually start thinking about godliness, to actually start figure what are we saying? What are the definitions? When we actually say God, when we say godliness, when we're praying. And I think that it's a tremendous historic moment in the spreading of Siddur that you and Yoni and brother, everyone else involved, that you guys have sparked something really tremendous. So thank you.
So let me just add that the effect that this has on people is mamish unbelievable. You try to explain to them you have to keep this mitzvah, that mitzvah, they don't buy it. You tell them, but the Eibishter needs you to do this. It's amazing how everything changes. People are tired of being told what's good for them. You sound like a salesman. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear they'll go to heaven. Or they won't go to Gehenna. They don't want to hear it. But if you tell them there is something that Eibishter is waiting for, it changes the whole. I'm talking to a student who claims that he's an atheist. There is no God, there is no Torah, it never happened, the whole thing is a myth. I let him finish, and I said to him, it's very sad because the Eibishter is actually waiting for you to put on film. He said, really? Atheism is gone, the skepticism is gone, the cynicism is gone. Really? He needs it? Why didn't you say so? The world is ready to serve the non-Jewish world. They're ready to serve, but they're told that there is no one to serve. So they serve themselves. So they become narcissists. This is so essential. It's not a theological question. It's not a musag in Hasidus. It's everything. It's everything.
But just as a segue to what Rabbi Friedman was talking about, I want to take everyone all the way to El Salvador, and I want to welcome in someone who's become a special friend of mine. I don't mean to cut you off, Yaakov, but we're going to Dr. Francisco, and he's on call. He's in the emergency room right now, the head doctor in the largest hospital there.
Hello, Johnny and Rabbi Friedman. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And to everyone on the Zoom, I can't even begin to tell you the support and the friendship that I've developed over the last few months. One day I got an email from the doctor. Please share with us your story, as Rabbi Friedman just said, how this is affecting not only Jewish people and not Jewish people all the way around the world. So please share with us. It's so good to see your face and to see you with the stethoscope around your neck. And a few weeks ago, he came to visit us right here in Crown Heights.
Nice to see you, both, and Rabbi Manny Friedman and you, Johnny. You are my great friend, and I appreciate you a lot. I'm so very happy to be here and to learn about Hasidim. I'm an emergency physician. I'm from El Salvador. I have 40 years old. I have my wife and 2 kids. I learned about Judaism and Chabad. Looking a lot of videos in the YouTube. I saw videos of the Rebbe de Lubavitch, and Manny Friedman, and Johnny also. I was in USA, in Brooklyn, Yeshiva, 2 months ago. I was in the Yeshiva and the OL. So very, very, very happy to be there because when I talked with Rabbi Manis, he told me something that today I apply in my work. So, for example, is as an emergency physician when I work and I see a lot of patient, very critical patient in the UC also. I know that the life of that person is not only in my, is I put every effort to rescue the patient from the critical illness, but now I know that the life of the patient is in the hand of Hashem. So that is really inspire me. And thank you, Rabbi Manny Friesman, for every message that you always put in the YouTube, because I see every day, every video, and I learn about not only me but also my wife. I love Hasidic. I love everything. I have so many books, Midrash, and also Tanya. And I learned also that the universe is supported by three things: tzedakah, and serving Hashem, and praying. And I serve Hashem working here in the ER and doing tzedakah. That I'm very happy, so happy in the 24th hour a day. And that is my little history. When I was, because I'm from Argentina and I'm working here in El Salvador 3 years for the pandemic of COVID. And when I was in Argentina, and the first time when I get here in El Salvador, I was not a religious, but just a Christianity. But I feel empty. So when I saw the first video of the Rabbi talking about happiness, when the Rebbe said that you should serve Hashem with happiness 24 hours a day, I don't understand that, because I'm not a Jewish, so I don't understand how can I serve Hashem happy and joy 24 hours a day. So that's my my point of start. So I saw a lot of video, and I understand that if you are happy, you serve Hashem. If you're not happy, you can't serve Hashem. So I so happy with my family, with my work. I'm reading Humash, and I learn about how is Hashem, who is Hashem. So, and that's my goal in and my family and my work, and serve Hashem and happiness.
Thank you so much. Thank you, doctor, and I appreciate it. I know you're on call now, and
Yes.
you're the head doctor there, so I really appreciate you taking a few minutes, and much success and caring for your patients. And thanks again for all your support and reaching out. And to everyone else on the Zoom and whoever watches this video on YouTube, this is the power of YouTube. You can have a doctor all the way in El Salvador who watches obviously videos of the Rebbe and videos of Rabbi Friedman teaching Chassidus and teaching how essential and how necessary we are to God in every mitzvah. And that's what we're trying to support. So if everyone could help Chabad of YouTube so we can get these messages out there and take away any doubt that what we're doing is necessary to God, and take away any doubt that we're not necessary to God. This shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't be a new idea and revolutionary. And I imagine this is what the Rebbe for over 40 years was trying to drill into our heads. We have a mission which is essential, and there's no doubt about it. Thank you, Dr. Francisco, and I look forward to many years of our relationship.
Thank you so much, and I love you, Rabbi Manny Friedman, and you also, Johnny. Thank you so much, and see you later.
See you. Hopefully it's going to be a quiet night there.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.